Here I come.
I sense something elusive. Stay a while and listen.
Well met.
You are not prepared.
This better be good.
Existence is mysterious.
Loud and clear.
Hello there.
Greetings, traveler, and welcome to the Recluse.
Welcome to episode 220 of the Blue Recluse. My name is Martin Larsen, and you are listening to the podcast about everything Blizzard. It's Sunday, March the 17th, 2019. I'm a nerd. This is Tom. How you doing?
Hey, welcome. Welcome. Why am I saying welcome? I don't know. I've just been recording a number of podcasts, which you guys might find out about soon. So I'm just in that host mode where I'm like welcoming you, Marty, welcoming you, but you're the host, well, the co-host. Hello.
We're
I'll
all
just say
hosts.
hello.
We're
all
all
hosts.
hosts here.
All three of us, yeah.
So, good job on hosting.
Thank you. We're getting questions in the Twitch chat. Why do we have cloud symbols on our faces? That's because our consciousness is being uploaded to the cloud.
Yeah.
All part of us being part of the, what was it, the AI project that we've been talking about over the few months. The hive mind, Michael, is it? Is that what it
You're
is?
talking about the Google one, right? Or DeepMind.
Yeah. DeepMind. That's it, not the hive mind. That's something else.
That is great. No, I think it's because we are trying something new. We're trying to record in a new way, and apparently, when you start recording, it adds some icons on the screen. So I guess there's something we'll just need to fix for next time. But Michael, you're here as well.
Yes, I am here, and it's actually the way the cameras are positioned. Like, I can probably change it next time, but in the haste to try to get it, I didn't even notice those until somebody brought it up. To be honest. But I could probably try to make those go away eventually. But
Yeah.
I'm doing well.
It's all good.
Well. I've been playing a lot of Blizzard stuff recently. And by recently, I mean a couple days. I didn't get to play all week long. It was a really long week, so I didn't get to play anything or watch anything. So yesterday was almost all World of Warcraft in the back half of the day.
Okay. Yeah, I've been jumping into World of Warcraft as well, and I know we'll be jumping into it a little bit later. But one thing that I did start doing that I haven't done too much in this expansion is the good old PvP.
Oh.
How about? Yeah, I jumped into it, and surprisingly, been winning most of the battlegrounds so far. I've been having a really good time. So yeah, it's been fun.
You weren't scheduled to start PvPing for another 4 months, Marty. What's going on? What's happening?
I'm not raiding. I think that's what's happening.
That's it.
So no, but no, I actually had some quite good fun, and then found out that it's actually a decent way. Not like it's not something I would do exclusively to get materials, but it's actually a decent way to level up professions, because if you win, you have a chance to get a box, a little gold box. And when you open it, it can contain a lot of stuff, and one of the things is materials. I found out for your profession. So yeah, I was quite happy about that, because I jumped back to my priest because I started the expansion as a shaman, but decided to jump back to my priest. So on the professions, I'm a little bit behind, and especially if you're not really raiding and doing a lot of Mythic Plus, I find it's difficult to get materials for enchanting. So I'm.
I gotta say, if we gotta start pointing fingers at why Battle for Azeroth is a little bit lackluster, it's the fact that you changed your main, Marty, that upset the balance of just everything. When you came out and said, I'm maining Shaman this expansion, I was like, dark timeline. From here, things can only go downhill, and well, there we go.
Please tell me that I'm not the only one that when you said that, I just imagined Obi-Wan. I felt a tremor in the Force. Like thousands of voices all reach out at once.
That was not the Force. That was just the elementals that were like, oh no, not this guy.
Destroy the world, blow it up.
So yeah, but
You're back
funny-
playing priest, so
I'm back playing priest. Yeah.
so everything should be okay now. The timeline should be restored.
The game will come back to its former glory now that I'm back at
Once
playing my
8.2.
priest. It's 8.2. That is correct. 8.2 will bring back glory times.
The glory years.
How about you, Tom? What have you been up to besides making secret podcasts and stuff like that?
Spoilers.
Mainly making secret podcasts,
Okay.
but also playing Hearthstone and getting ready for the new expansion, which got announced. But we'll talk about that very soon. But one thing I was doing this morning, and this is a great tip, I saw it on Twitter. I can't remember the person's name, but I think we mentioned it a few weeks back when we were talking about the cards that are rotating into the Hall of Fame. And basically, if you don't own any of those cards that are rotating out, go out and craft them. Even if you have like one copy of the card, craft the second copy, because you're going to get the full dust refund for up to 2 cards. And I went in today and it turns out I didn't have 2 of one of the cards. So I was like, oh, sweet. It's an epic. Yes, I dropped 800 dust to craft it, but I'm going to get that back and I'll have 2 extra cards for my collection. So just a little tip I saw, that if you don't have these cards that are moving, craft them, because you'll get full refund for them and
What's
you'll get the card
point
as well.
Then? What am I not understanding here? If it costs 800 now and I get 800 back, then I haven't really gained anything?
You've gained the
Gain
card.
You get to keep the card that you craft, and they give you the dust back.
Then it makes sense.
What if I gain? Marty, you gained the card. It's a card game.
I didn't think you get to keep. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. I didn't
Makes
think
sense.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
They
for
don't
clearing
take the
that
card
up.
away from you. You keep
No,
the card,
no.
okay?
I thought you dusted it afterwards. I was like, but then it makes no sense. Then,
Okay.
I have a
So
question on the Hearthstone front really
so
quick.
technically you can then dust it afterwards, and then you will get even more dust back, right?
No, I
No.
don't believe that's how it works. They will move it to wild. You'll get the full dust refund. But then if you were to disenchant that, I don't believe you get a full dust refund on top of that.
Of course. But
That is
still,
just
it's
that is greedy. Yeah.
Hey, I'm min-max guy.
Yeah,
okay?
true. It was worth a question. It was definitely worth a question.
Sorry, Michael, we interrupted you.
No, I was just wondering. So you can always, when they do these expansions, you can pre-order like a certain amount of packs. Are you able? So this one, since they're, if I'm correct, they're re-adding the adventure that you purchased. Can you buy that right now too?
No, that's
Okay.
not currently available for pre-order. Just the expansion 50 and 80 packs, which, like I say, we'll probably talk about that when we jump into it. I don't know when we're jumping into that,
Let's
Marty.
just jump into it. Let's just.
You wanna jump into
already
it
started.
straight?
We
Hearthstone
already
first.
started.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Wah. Wah.
Let's
I
get
wasn't ready for that.
Let's get the good stuff out of the way.
You're just like, we're just gonna spend 5 minutes on a Hearthstone at the start.
Yeah.
So
With our good friend Dave Kosak. who
yeah,
is-
Dave. Woo.
He's amazing. I love that guy. I mean, sure we don't have Ben Broad anymore, but Dave, he's so funny. I mean, I don't think he's acting. I think that's just him. To be honest, I think he's amazing. He's so much fun. So what were your initial reactions to this release video? Michael, start with you.
Murloc slippers, Hunter meta jokes, and what was the last one? There was something else that I had mentioned and I forgot about it.
Nomi.
Nomi,
Burn.
yes, the Nomi card. I love the Nomi card. I like it. I think that Dave Kozak, he has like this. He fits that weird aura nerd vibe like really well, and I love that they've kind of taken that and run with it. It's kind of like they've embraced they've embraced that aspect of it. While Ben Brode had one way to do things, they've embraced a whole new way of doing it, while still kind of having that a little bit of charm and thing that Ben Brode had as well. So I like that. I like the way that this is going, and I'm excited for the. To be honest, like the adventure itself, like the theme doesn't really appeal to me all that much, but just the fact that it's an adventure is enough to get me involved with it because I really am a fan of the adventures in the game. So I will be getting it, needless to say.
Ooh.
It's more than a dungeon run, and we had 3 expansions with dungeon runs. So essentially, so I'm done with that.
Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to that, to the PVE side of things, I'm getting that as well. I think I'm actually fairly close to be able to buy it with gold, so I might actually jump into the game and play a little bit, and see if I can raise the goal to just don't spend money for a change. But if not, then I'll probably just sink those money into it. I mean,
Yeah, that is one thing that's kind of being talked about as well. Is we obviously have an 80 card pack pre-order, which I think in the good old British pounds is about 70 quid or something, which is kind of crazy. And it includes 80 packs and a golden legendary and a card pack and a hero. And there's the 50 kind of standard that we've come to expect, which also includes a legendary and this includes a card pack as well, which I think is around £40 as well. So it's a lot of dough. And then on top of that, you could be looking at the adventure if you're buying that. So it's a lot of cash, and I totally get why some people are still like, but maybe the PvE side is a way to get people in that aren't playing the game as regular. I think maybe that's going to be their entry point, because I still find it hard to think somebody that hasn't played the game for a while, like even just purchasing 50 packs or even 80 packs, they're still going to be missing some cards from the previous year as well. And I don't know, it still feels like an awkward place to ask people to enter at that price point. But maybe the adventures are something that people can find some entertainment with the mechanics in that mode, and then branch over to the multiplayer aspect if they enjoy how the game feels. Because I feel like the adventures have always captured something within Hearthstone, that comedic element that we've kind of grown to know and love, and we've had glimmers of it since they did away with adventures, but it was never quite the same as just having that fully fledged adventure mode. So now they're doing everything, and it's going to be interesting to see just how having all of that thrown together plays out. But we're not going to see the adventure mode probably for a couple of weeks, I think, again after the launch of this expansion.
boo.
I did not think of that because I had brought up that it was coming out like the day before my birthday, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna jump right into the adventure, have some fun. And now I'm just like,
Nope.
no fun on my end. No, I prefer the single player modes, particularly because they always have these weird bosses where it changes based on each boss, like your mechanics, your deck, and you have to rebuild like almost every time. I like that because it kind of like, the boss itself doesn't change, but it gives me something to work my deck around. And I find that a lot easier to build a deck around. Okay, like this guy, you can't have taunt, so you need to adjust your deck because he'll destroy all taunt minions or something like that. It's easier for me to build a deck around that than it is for me to think about, okay, there's hunters being played right now, mages being played, warriors, and shamans. That's the meta. Let me try to build a deck that works around all these different ones. I like just being able to focus on one thing. I'm pretty basic when it comes to that.
I think as well, if they are putting more work into the adventures and there is a monetary gate, to get through that, or you can spend gold, if the effort is there, that you see the content within this, that it's more than just I'll play this through one time and then I'm done. If there's that replayability, if there is that, like, I can come back to it and get value out of it, I'm not going to mind having to drop that gold or drop that money. I don't have to spend money on Hearthstone. I have a lot of gold, but I kind of support that. I support that if they put more content within the PvE side, and I think that's something that's been vastly underrated in Hearthstone, because we're always thinking that it's an esport, you have to play competitively, you have to play, you have to climb the ladder, but there is just people that just enjoy playing against the computer and having fun that way. And you can have a lot of fun that way. It's definitely fun to beat other people, but it's also fun to challenge yourself with these unique constructed environments. And I know I'd said a couple of weeks ago to you, Michael, about Slay the Spire, and I know you jumped into that.
Yep.
And you perhaps saw elements of what an actual fleshed out PvE side of a game can do, and that one is just solely focused on PvE. And imagine something like that within the Hearthstone realm. It would be absolutely incredible. It would be amazing. And I'm looking forward just to see what sort of level of detail we're going to be getting in these adventures. And also, like Pete says in the chat, we're going to have a continuing storyline within those as well. So that's something that we can sink our teeth into, and perhaps we've got some relatable threads to connect with each expansion as it comes out within the year.
Yeah, because I mean, they already did say that all 3 expansions we'll have this year, they're all connected story lore wise, whatever, in some shape or form, right? So it is quite interesting to see that Blizzard have now chosen to go towards, let's actually use Hearthstone to tell a story as well. And I mean, I'm happy about that because I like entertainment. I like being told a story. So it might actually be something that gets me into Hearthstone a little bit more.
One thing I did want to add here is that I think it's pretty cool that Hearthstone is kind of at this point now where it's had enough of its own things going on that like all of these villains are Hearthstone villains that you're going through, and I do like that it's kind of at a point right now where this adventure is not necessarily like a World of Warcraft adventure. It's more of a Hearthstone adventure, and I do like that. And even if I don't play it as much, I do like that it's gotten to this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I mean, we have even seen like characters that were made for Hearthstone now going into World of Warcraft as well because people like them so much. I really like that these two games are sort of can be standalone but can still influence each other.
Yeah, they're expanding the world and creating these colorful new characters as well. And it's, who knows, maybe one day we'll see like a raid boss in World of Warcraft that was born in Hearthstone. Like, where did he come from? And he's like, he used to be a card.
The innkeeper.
Now he's a man.
It's a card dealer.
The innkeeper is a raid boss in WoW.
That's how it all ends. I just wanted to touch quickly on a few of the new mechanics in the expansion because we're going to see quests.
Time limit.
Oh, are we? Oh, well.
Time's up. Sorry.
Okay. Give me a few more. So we're going to have quests, and the Death Knights rotate out of standard, which is pretty big. They were pretty impactful cards, especially the Death Knights, especially Jaina and Rexar. Those ones were just, they were everywhere. And
it feels like yesterday they got implemented. Is it already time? Jesus.
It's time to say goodbye. They're going over to Wild. But I love those cards. I like quests. I like Death Knights. I like that class flavor, even if some of the Death Knights were just super overpowered compared to other ones. But
so were Death Knights in World of Warcraft in the beginning as well.
Well, that's true.
They got nerfed as well. So.
That's true. It's just sticking to the lore. But something we're going to be getting, and I think a lot of these mechanics are replacing, they're doing something similar, but they're operating in a slightly different way. So we're going to be getting lackeys, which I think some cards are going to be generating these 1/1 minions, which 1/1 you might say that's not great, but they're going to have a bit more impactful battle cries when they hit the board. And we're also going to be getting schemes, which these are going to be spells that can sit in your hand, but the longer they sit in your hand, the better that card becomes. So if you have a card in your hand on turn 1, the longer you keep that in your hand, it's going to get more and more powerful. So it's that kind of, do I play it now? Do I wait a couple more turns to make it even more powerful? Those decisions, I think, have always been pretty fun in Hearthstone. When is the right time to play this card? And we're also getting a new keyword called Twin Spell, which does what it says on the tin, really. If you've got a spell with Twin Spell, you play that spell and you get another copy of that spell into your hand. So you can play it again. So you play that spell twice. But it's going to cost you whatever its cost is each time. You don't get to play the second one for free or anything like that. So I don't think it's too
It's
crazy.
like echo with a limit, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that it's one-time echo on a spell. That's yeah, you summed it up.
Except with echo, right? When your turn is over, then echo is over as well. Where this one, if you can't use it this turn, you actually get to keep it for
That's
next
right, yeah.
turn or another turn. So you yeah, two
Yeah.
for one.
2 for 1. Yeah, and I think cards like that always gonna see a lot of play, especially in arena where you want to get as much bang for your buck with a card as possible. And Michael mentioned it earlier, but I think we gotta give a shout out to Chef Nomi, which it's one of World of Warcraft Legion's biggest memes.
He was
ever.
the end boss, right? He was the end boss, the secret end boss.
We still
It's the extra phase in the mythic encounter. Nomi's there. Only a handful of elite players has ever seen it, but it's true.
Yeah, so Chef Nomi makes it into Hearthstone, and again, we were talking about how perhaps villains and characters from Hearthstone making it into Warcraft. I think this is an example of a character in World of Warcraft that became so popular for all the wrong reasons that everyone knows Chef Nomi, and now we're seeing Chef Nomi in Hearthstone, which as a legendary no less, and it's going to be a 7-mana 6/6, which battle cry, if your deck is empty, summon 6/6/6 grease fire elementals. So people will have to have a completely empty deck before they can get any use out of Nomi. But I think people are actually quite excited about the potential of making Nomi work just for the meme decks, and just to say that I beat you with Nomi. That's going to be the biggest insult you could probably do to somebody in Hearthstone. Imagine World Championship being decided on a Chef Nomi. You know what I'm talking about? That's the stuff people want to tune in and see. That's the headlines.
I want to
people
see
want
it.
to read.
I want to see it. No, but yeah, Chef Nomi. Was there any other cards that we got announced, or anything interesting?
There was a few reveals initially, and I think we're going to be rolling into reveal season now over the next week. So I think if we get stuff that pops up that's getting us going, yeah, let's check that out. I think one of the other main ones was Archvillain Rafam, and if you played the adventure League of Explorers, well, not League of Explorers, was it? Oh my goodness, totally brain farting. I think it was League of Explorers where you were. Yeah, it was. Why I don't know why I pretend to be the person that knows about Hearthstone, because I regularly just doubt myself. But yeah, Rafam was the guy who was trying to get the Staff of Origination, and we were trying to stop him. Maybe it wasn't League of Explorers. I feel like it was. Anyway, remember the Golden Monkey and all that stuff where you could play through that and eventually turn your deck into legendary cards? Well, he's just a flat out 7-mana 7/8 legendary, and he's a taunt and battle cry, replace your hand and deck with legendary minions. So he's turned into the Golden Monkey basically, but you don't have to go through that. Put the map to the Golden Monkey in your deck and find the Golden Monkey. It's just boom, all the legendaries. So that's going to be a fun card to see back in standard as well, with people transforming their decks into potentially a hand and deck full of Chef Nomis. Could you imagine?
Oh,
That is the dream. It's not really. That would be terrible. That would be like
That's
the
the
worst.
nightmare.
You just know you're gonna see someone transform all their cards. They're just gonna turn into Nomis and be like, concede. It's over.
yeah,
it's
I
good.
don't know. I had a bad joke about something with cooking, but I couldn't really. It's in there. Figure it out yourself. Bad joke. Cooking. Nomi. Go on. Sorry.
Something about deck recipes? No.
Oh,
Maybe.
maybe. Maybe.
This podcast is build your own jokes.
You have all the parts now. It's just like Hearthstone. Here's all the cards. You build
Yeah,
your deck.
you make it. You make it.
You make it. All right. Anything else for Hearthstone, or is that it for now at least?
I think that's good for now. I don't want to keep you guys, talking about something you don't like anymore. But I can see you're excited about getting back into Hearthstone. It's always a good time to come back.
It's the 3 times of the year that I look forward to the most.
Yep.
All right, since we sort of started in the bottom of our show notes, let's continue and move upwards. In World of Warcraft, we did touch a little bit upon it. Kitty is now eating my microphone. Don't do that. Patch 8.1.5 is out, and oh joy, lots of stuff in it. Among others, the most important update was that, they finally updated the Twitter integration to not only have 140, but now 280 characters. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is hereby confirmed we have another case of Warlords of Draenor on our hands. How do you guys feel?
Go ahead, Michael.
I was not expecting that, and I have no opinion. Truthfully, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I don't use that damn camera. I don't take the selfies. Like, no, I just don't do it, and I refuse to. I ignored the quest when I saw it.
Oh, you don't have the selfie camera at all?
No, I think I have it when I got it that first time, but then they wanted me to do it like for some other thing. I don't know. That thing is so stupid. If you enjoy it, then I apologize. Like, please enjoy it as you will. But for me, like, no, I don't care. It's not for me.
But I know, Michael, that you have jumped in and played through well, not all of the content, but most of the content.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're in World of Warcraft these days, are you, Tom?
I'm not in it, but I am following it. I'm on the outside.
Yeah. The one thing that I think so far in the patch schedule that I'm a little bit disappointed about is probably story content that's been added. With the previous patch of story content that got added, it was like an evening worth of game time, and then you work through it. In 8.1.5, it's the same, one evening. And I've been through. Well, I think it dragged out in my case because one of the quest was sort of gated behind a follower mission, and what I always do as the first thing is I go to my mission table, send out my followers, then I did the quests. And it ends up with, hey, send your followers out and do this. And I was like, god damn it, I just did it. You people suck. So I had to wait for the day after to send out my followers, and then for the day after again before I could finish off the story content. But I don't feel like there was too much added, at least not for the Alliance side. I haven't played through the Horde side. I don't know how the story is progressing over there, but I just feel a little bit disappointed with the story parts that's going on at the moment. Or is that just me?
No, if you're interested in it, if you're a lore nerd, this might be a little bit lackluster right now. Overall, it's going pretty well. Like, the grand narrative is looking pretty cool, but I'm right there with you where it feels so short, like the amount of content that you get. And then, like you said, they do have that portion where they make you use the mission table midway through. And you go, and it's not a short mission where it's like, hey, like, they'll be back in an hour. It's like, wait a day, and then you can come back. Or if you have, like, able to make it shorter, then it's like 12 hours. So that's what I did. We do get to see some pretty interesting things, though. Like, story-wise, like, the thing that's there is pretty cool. Like, there's 2 big moments, at least from the Alliance side, that you get to witness. I'm not going to go into it for those who, like, still have not done it.
Yet.
No. But there's stuff for main players, and then there's stuff for the book readers out there who read Before the Storm, which is pretty cool.
Yes, okay.
Yes,
it is that thing.
I
I really like that. I was really delighted to see that connective tissue has surfaced from the book, and that was something when I read the book. Obviously, we're dancing around spoiling this, but that was something when that whole concept was brought up. I was looking forward to actually exploring that more in game because it's super interesting.
Is it a certain gnome and a certain goblin that we're talking about, just to make be completely clear.
No,
Oh,
why
no.
you gotta make it completely clear?
No, I mean I'm not mentioning any names or whatever.
This is why people don't play video games anymore, because they're too
Yeah.
easy.
But I also think it also sort of shows that this whole patch cycle has been effed up a little bit because of all the trouble that the game had. Because I think the plan was to, for us to see these characters again earlier, because it has been quite a far, road down the line before we actually got to see these characters. So I do think that the plan was for us to get all this content a little bit earlier than what we got. But happy to see them.
Yeah, so for the book nerds, this is not the only treat that you get. There's a little bit more coming your way too that they kind of hint at. More characters from Before the Storm that might be coming in game soon, which is pretty interesting. The biggest complaint that I have right now, other than the pacing, is the fact that we essentially won't have any more story things till 8.2. And to think about it, like, you could do all this content in, like you said, like just one sitting, and it's not even like okay, let me sit down, get ready for a 4-hour stint and put it all in. It's like you could just do it, and then what?
Yeah.
More world quests. Like, they did add some more world quests, some different ones. Like, the Hortolans now have like a line tracing thing, which I have not done. I have done that.
I have not a good review of that quest. I didn't know what to do. I kept failing it, and I think it took, like, I'm shitting you not, like 8 to 10 tries to actually do it, and I'm like, what the hell? What is this? But the other one is quite funny.
Is that the one where you play as the crab?
Yeah, the one where you play as the crab, that's the other one. That's actually quite funny, where all of a sudden you've been killing crabs and what's it called, the birds throughout the whole expansion. Now you get to kill the turtles, and I think for myself it had a little bit of satisfactory to be on the other side, because I really hate those quests.
The turtle didn't make it to the water. Yes.
So yeah. But no.
I don't know. I haven't been doing the world quest because I'm exalted with everything, and it just kind of seems like I don't really feel the necessity of doing the world quest for the most part.
No.
Like, I'm pretty high up there on resources right now, so I don't need to do them to grind out like war resources or things like that. I mean, I could be working harder on my necklace, which I think I'm only 40. I think I'm like on my necklace I'm 40. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's World Quest doesn't feel that interesting right now as well either. I mean, yeah, sure, if you're an alt or whatever, you just got back to the game, World Quests are amazing, or maybe a little bit too amazing, I might actually say, because I've been inside one raid. It was a normal raid. We cleared everything, and that's it. I haven't been inside the raid. I haven't really been dungeoning. I haven't done a single Mythic Plus. And my gear level is high enough for me to almost jump into Mythic. If I were to going into Heroic raid right now, it would be mainly Warforged items that would have my interest. There's a few. I think I have like 4 items in total where I would need an update. The rest of it I've gotten just by logging in every day, doing my world quests. By doing the what's it called, the Warfront, when just that once to get gear for that quest and stuff like that. I haven't really, I've just been casually playing, and my gear level is so high right now that it makes no sense. It's I feel like a lot of the progression is sort of
it feels
it's a little
off.
bit, it feels off. It feels really off when I can almost go straight into Mythic if I wanted to.
So I want to touch on that because there was I was raiding the other night, and I've recently switched to raid tank. I've officially been given the spot as the second raid tank. So
congrats, I guess.
Yeah, so there's that, but I have not been doing Mythic Plus like at all. And I was jumping in, and I was just like, you know what? Like, something feels different about Mythic Plus right now versus like how it felt in Legion, because it was one of my favorite types of content to do in Legion. And I think, I don't know, I just feel like the rewards while you're doing it are not, they're not rewarding enough. Like, they just don't feel good while you're in the dungeon. Your chest at the end can reward you with a pretty good piece if you get a high enough key. But if I do like
the weekly one, right?
yeah,
Or-
yeah. So if I do like the weekly and I get that, that's awesome. But at the same time, as somebody who doesn't really play every single day because I got work throughout the week, it's like, oh, I'm gonna do a dungeon on Saturday and not be able to see the rewards from that dungeon until like the next reset. That's not a very satisfying feeling for me. And I get the idea, like, hey, you have to run your dungeons, but for me, there's like, I don't want to, and I kind of have to now that I'm like, we're starting to progress heroic because all we have left is Jaina on normal. We actually downed Stormwall last week, which was nice.
Ooh, that's-
So we have Jaina on normal left, and we're 2. Are we at 2? Yeah, I think we're at 2 out of 3 heroic, maybe. Oh wait, no, we still haven't downed those. Actually, no, we did. Sorry, yes, we are 2 out of 3, 2 out of 9 heroic, which is nice. So
well,
It's
congrats on that.
disheartening to hear that the dungeon problem still rages on. The fact that we still live in this world in Warcraft that dungeons still don't feel relevant enough to do. That we have all these amazing dungeons where we can get introduced to mechanics that we might see greater expanded upon within raids. And I agree. Like, obviously I'm not in the game right now, but it's not just this expansion. It's been like this for many expansions now, where dungeons just don't feel worth doing. They just don't feel rewarding. They don't feel satisfying even just to play through them. And I put my classic hat back on here, my Warcraft classic hat on, and it's just like, Marty, you threw something in our Dragon Powered Studio Discord last week, and I was watching it. It was about Blackrock Depths in its original form, and just watching that made me miss vanilla dungeons and just how that all operated. And I'm pining for something that's never going to come back. That's never going to be like that anymore. But just the depth and how rewarding classic dungeons used to feel when you were collecting gear. But the mindset of a World of Warcraft player has totally changed now. It's all about instant gratification. It's focused more on the solo play, that you can go out, do all these world quests, you can do war fronts. You don't have to interact with anybody anymore. You don't have to do that, and you can have amazing gear to do what? Like, to join a raid solo and do that and get gear, but you probably don't even need that gear. I know everything just feels a bit weird. I agree, guys. If everything feels a bit weird, and I feel like dungeons just should be used more as like a core staple of where you want people to play and learn the mechanics of World of Warcraft, instead of maybe forcing people to go into the raiding scene and get that fixed as well, because that's when a lot of issues, especially in the raid finder, where people actually don't know how to play properly because they've never had that increase in difficulty gradually, which I think was done really well in Classic, because people are just skipping all the dungeons now because they don't have to do them. And then when you finally get something with a bit of difficulty that you actually have to think about, people are struggling because they're like in a totally different play style,
yeah,
because
they're in a
it's just
different
like, oh,
mindset.
I actually have to think now.
I'm just there to be carried by the other people because I'm massively undergeared and I want to gear up quickly.
One thing that I would like to see, like, if I don't know how well this would work, and I'm not a designer or anything like that, but so what I would like to do is that dungeon, like mythic dungeon or mythic plus dungeon gear should not have an equal anywhere else in the game, and raid should be above dungeon level gear. So in a sense, you would need dungeon gear in order to raid, and you couldn't get like dungeon level gear from an outside source such as like a Warfront or anything like that. Like, it's almost like a requirement where, like, hey, like, we have all these dungeons, you need to gear up through the dungeons in order to do the raid, and you can't really do that via like a Warfront or just a random world quest that Titan forges up to a certain level, like you said, there's so many different places to get gear right now that it's too easy.
I sort of made the joke the other day that Twitch has these things where when you watch something on Twitch, you get stuff for a game. Where my joke was, yeah, you get mythic gear, gear items just by watching Twitch, and it sort of almost feels like it sometimes with with World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I think the only way that it should have an equivalent, but it should be a little bit different here, is for the PvPers. I think it used to kind of be this way, right, where PvP used to have their own gear. And it wouldn't. And while I get the idea of like let's kind of make the gear more similar so that people who don't PvP, it's an easier path for them to get into PvP. But I think it'd be cool if it was kind of the other way around, where PvP gear was tailored towards PvP type thing, maybe abilities and things on the gear or the weapons that would help you in a PvP scenario, but not so much. Like, yeah, it might have the base stats to kind of help you through raid and dungeons and things like that. I don't know how well that would go over. But...
I sort of think we did have a point where we had PvE gear and PvP gear, and the issue was that a lot of people jumped into the dungeons and raids with PvE gear, which weren't, that suitable. But I mean, it could still work. But then, because of how the community is, sometimes they're like, "Hey, you're in PvP gear," and then he got kicked out of the group, even though he might actually be a good player who knows what he was doing. But you also obviously had the other way around, where you just had a PvP and a PvE environment, and it was just messy. And so I think that's why they decided to this gear can be used in both situations. So yeah, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I definitely see where you're commenting. I would wish that they did something, that they tried something else at least.
Now I will also want to touch on Alessandra's comment in the chat, because she said, like, how can we say that that it's all about instant gratification when WoW meta now is you string along for weeks and months hoping for RNG to strike to get you a 5-point bracer upgrade. That I think is only like really prevalent at the high end, because if you just jump into the game right now, like I think Marty said before, he jumped in and it was weird how quickly he was able to get his character that he had not been playing geared up right away, because there are so many instant things. Like I have an alt, and once I unlock world quests, I'm able to get 310 plus gear on like a 280 character like that. Like just really quickly.
I want to clarify one thing though, Michael. I don't mind that I can gear up fairly quickly to get back into the game, but I felt it was really weird that I could keep gearing up and sort of skip steps of queuing content. And I think that's the issue, that I can gear up so quickly that I'm ready for Mythic pretty much. I need a few items here and there, and then I could technically go into Mythic. And and Mythic raiding, not Mythic plus dungeons, Mythic raiding. And I feel that is a little bit weird. I feel like outside of raiding, I should be able to gear up to do normal.
Yes, like that's
I think it's fine that you can skip or use looking for raid as a supplement, but up to around normal, and then you go into normal, you get your gear upgrades, then you go into heroic and get your gear upgrades. I think that's how it should work. Just skipping 2 steps is a little bit weird to me.
Do you think the whole Titan forging thing is bullcrap and should go away? Like just that whole randomness that you could get an item drop and it could roll, and then suddenly it's this amazing item that you could have got from raiding.
I think the issue is when it comes to Titan forging and war forging is that it can actually roll so high. I don't mind that it procs and it gets some maybe 5 item level higher, or it gets an extra stat of something like not a main stat, but something like indestructible or avoidance or whatever, all those stats, because it's minor stats. It helps a little bit. It's not OP at all, but min maxing, it's a little bit of help. But I think the issue is that it can actually Titan forge so high up, so I could technically just keep running normal and have better gear than a Mythic Raider technically, and that's weird.
And I'll slightly disagree on that, where I wish it would be gone. I used to, like when I wasn't raiding before, I used to really like it because I'd be like, oh cool, like it just suddenly boosted my eye level when I was on a more casual side of things, like not even in the raid. But now that I'm in the raid and I'm actually like doing the content, I I don't like that if I have like this piece of gear, that when I go into that fight, I'm hoping for that same piece of gear, but just hoping that it procs with something special or something different. I want to be able to target it a little bit more with a little bit more reliability.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean,
Difference in
personally,
play styles, perhaps. Like that's just
yeah. I mean, I don't, because I've also been in raiding for a long time, and you know, towards the end, you're sort of like just, I have everything I need. Why should I go back in here? Everybody else, you know, they just suck or something. So I'll just quit. Whatever. Where at least you have a little bit of incentive. You might actually get something, a little upgrade. I just think that the upgrade that you can get right now is too large. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a better system they can do instead. I don't know. I'm not a game designer. So,
Yeah, you are. You're a podcaster, which means you're qualified.
I'm qualified. I know everything. Just ask me.
Copy
Anyway,
paste.
just Google something. Just don't look at other games, because apparently that's not into fashion these days to see what other games is doing. I'm speaking about Anthem here. Anyway, sorry. Any more comments to World of Warcraft, or should we move along to something interesting?
I have one last thing. I have one last thing.
That sounded wrong. Sorry.
I have
Also
one last
interesting.
thing, and it's on the war campaign, which I don't mind doing. But I just kind of wish that when you finish the war campaign, like in the current chunk that they have, that there was something letting you know that you finished the war campaign in that current chunk. It just kind of feels like it just abruptly ends, and there's nothing there. I'm prepared for that in Classic, but I want like a gratification, like, or not a gratification necessarily, but just something that tells me like, hey, you've done all the quests for 8.1.5 in terms of the war campaign. It's like I'm going through.
You want a credit? You want a credit scene, Michael? Don't you? You want credits? That's what you're saying.
More cinematics.
You want the screen fade away. You want to see all the names of the people that worked on the game to make that patch.
No, because that would probably take longer than the amount of time that it took me to do the war campaign.
I actually do think that if you open your quest log, it actually does the war campaign area in the upper right corner actually does say that you have to wait for the next patch.
All right, so I'll double check that. That's me not doing my due diligence and just wanting everything spoon fed to me. I need them to pop up on my screen, telling me that I did it.
I would love a quest log that actually said something about that. All right, this part of the quest line belongs to 8.1. This part of the quest line is 8.1.5. Stuff like that. Just so, I mean, it's just something that would be nice to see sometimes, because especially if you jump into the game now, you know, there's content all over the place, there's stuff all over the place. Where do I start? Where do I begin? And something that would be nice. I think they do it a little bit, not like 100%, but I think they do it a little bit in Star Wars: The Old Republic. So
and Pete, no, I don't want the game to be easier. It's just a weird feeling. Like, I understand that like in Classic it'll be like that, where like the quest line just abruptly ends and you're just like, oh, I guess that's it. But when you're doing the war campaign, which it's obvious that they're still leading you into more and more of it, it's like, okay, now we've done that. Now it's time to tackle the next.
Wait, you think there's going to be story quests in Classic?
Hey,
that's cute.
I know it's a little bit more disjointed. I know
there's
that.
no quests in Classic. You just have to grind your way to 60. That's
grind
right.
those boars, Michael.
Killing boars. I'm still in the forest killing boars.
Live to win.
Live to win. All right, I'm done on World of Warcraft right now.
All right. Because we have a little bit of Diablo news, some interesting stuff happening. Let's start with something that Michael brought to my attention. I think it was last week, and that is that Diablo makes its way to GOG. And I went straight in there, bought it, loaded it up. The graphics are horrible, just as I remember. It was amazing. I got to level 3. How you doing, Michael?
Well, if you're a classic game nerd, this is right up your alley. I'm the only one that's done the nerd lead-ins this whole episode, by the way.
I did it in the intro, and nobody flinched. Nobody noticed.
But yes, so Diablo, the original, has made its way to GOG, and it's pretty fun. I've logged in. I died to the butcher, and I am currently having an issue where I can't get back into the game. It tried to do an update, and now it won't repair. It won't update. I tried to uninstall and reinstall, and it still won't do it. So I need to.
Don't talk about games that you downloaded and you can't play. That's a really sensitive subject for Marty right now.
You guys got to share your screenshots all over the social media and everything. I need to get my vent out too. All right. But yeah, I think that it's a brilliant move. I think it also is kind of telling of what Blizzard's plans are for certain IPs and things, in the sense of when Diablo made its way to GOG, we also got the word that Warcraft 1 and 2 are going to also be coming to GOG. One, I've never played Warcraft 1, and I'm excited to see how bad it really is.
That's no story.
Warcraft 2 has a special place in my heart. For those who have heard my origin story with Blizzard games, you know why. But it also kind of tells us no Diablo 2, at least coming to GOG, which kind of gives the idea that Blizzard might have something baking in the oven in terms of Diablo 2, possibly a HD
Multiple
remake.
Diablo projects.
That's right.
And we've seen 2 of them, like a book, and now Diablo on GOG. What's left to announce, Blizz? What's left to announce?
One thing that I found really interesting though was that we tend to have these rose-tinted goggles on when it comes to games that we played in our youth or whatever, and I remember Diablo 1 was so amazing, so good. I played it so much, and now I jumped into it, and I don't remember anything. I do not remember the gameplay, how it actually played. It's like I'm playing a whole new game, and I'm like, how could I forget this? I played
Marty,
it so much. And
I
don't come with an Marty's old joke right here.
Well,
I know you too well.
I'm not gonna say it
Okay.
outright, but it's gonna be something along those lines of when you were playing Diablo back in your early years before me and Michael were born. You said it was this really exciting time in your life because you were smoking cigarettes and keeping watch while one of your friends played Diablo, and I feel like you maybe need to bring that side of things back again as well, although I'm not encouraging you to start smoking again, because I know you've been off them for quite a while, but maybe you need to add a bit of outside the game excitement while you're playing it as well, just to bring back those memories of, oh, this is so dangerous. Like, is the game dangerous, or is it the fact that I might be caught smoking dangerous? I feel like you got to bring that back. That's what's shouting inside of you, Marty. That's what's saying, come back, let's relive those days, Marty.
So just to bring that up to date, then it would mean that I was sitting home alone, my girlfriend is not around, and I would be eating meat and drinking Coke and just hoping that I wouldn't be caught in the act. Is that what you're saying?
I think that's maybe about the safest way you can word that as we swiftly move on.
Alright, but we're not done. We're not done with Diablo.
Neither is Blizzard. Blizzard aren't done with Diablo. Just to confirm that.
Blizzard is not done with Diablo. I mean, we did sort of hear a little bit about it. Tweets were written and deleted, and now a Diablo trademark has come to light. An episodic endeavor, downloadable video. What does this sound like in your guys' ears?
It's two things. One, it could be the Netflix series that we were all talking about before that we thought would be revealed at BlizzCon, possibly. It could be that, or it just could be maybe a one-off movie type deal, but it is some sort of Diablo animation, live action, it's some sort of Diablo visual telling. My guess is going to be a TV series, similar to the lines of Castlevania, which we've already discussed before.
I want a live action Diablo TV series, and I'm trying to think who we would cast as Decker King. But anyway, sorry, carry on.
No, we need somebody like remember the old Doom movie? Which, by the way, they're redoing. They're doing another one, and it looks.
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
Yeah, so I don't think a live action would be all that great. Personally, I'm having visions of Spawn in my head for some reason.
But I would love it to be something.
Oh yeah, Ian McKellen. Sorry, Ian McKellen is Decker Kane.
Oh, Oh,
Could
Sign 'em
work,
up.
could
Okay.
work,
Sign
could
them
work.
up.
But I would love to see something along the lines of Castlevania, because you've been talking about it, Michael. So I actually jumped into Netflix and started watching it, and I'm quite enjoying it so far. Just seen the first season, and it's still on my to watch list. I will continue, and I would love to see something along those lines for Diablo. I think it could work quite well.
yeah.
It is good. I only watched one episode because I started watching it on an airplane, and it felt a bit too violent to be watching, where people could see what I'm watching. Because the first episode's a bit gory.
Heck yeah,
bit
it's
kind
really
of-
cool. I've
Yeah,
Ask
but
people
it's
on
not
the
something I
plane if
want
they
to
wanna
sit
see
in a
it.
public place and watch, Michael. It's
will.
not a place where I want people to walk past and go, "What the f is that guy
I
watching?
do
Why?
because then people will leave me alone.
Why?"
Stay away.
I mean, it's if people saw Michael on the plane, they're right. It's all right. He's American, but we're European people over here, So we have.
Wow, he's American.
Yeah.
Just violent dude watching violent things. No big deal.
It's just the norm.
Yeah. So yeah. Any last remarks to Diablo?
I think we're seeing the multiple projects, I suppose, and I think once we get the announcement of the Diablo, even if it is called Diablo 4, I don't know, but I feel like everyone's kind of just on tenterhooks that, yeah, we're getting all this other Diablo stuff, but when are we getting the actual Diablo stuff? Because all this other Diablo stuff is really good, but I feel like we need that feel good Diablo announcement, which it's got to come this year. I feel like it's got to come this year, or the world possibly will end. I couldn't go through another BlizzCon like last year. That Fallout, it was rough. It has been a rough Blizzard ride, and maybe we're turning the corner now, because now we're starting to see projects that are happening, and we're looking ahead.
I do
and
have
maybe...
one last thing, and I don't
Oh,
know
is
if
it a
you
negative?
heard about it. It is a negative. Well, it depends on who you are. It depends on who you are.
I was trying to say the sun is rising. It's we're leaving all the bad stuff behind. But Michael's saying no. It's all going to
That's
crap
right.
again.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard about it, but I was watching a Riker video on YouTube, and they were bringing up that I guess in China, Diablo Immortal was available in the store to like pre-download, but you couldn't access or something like that.
I think it was Taiwan. I don't think it was
Okay,
China.
it
I
was
think it was Taiwan
somewhere.
or something like that. Yeah.
But they were able to like access it in the store, but not actually like get to the game. And it just kind of raises a question of how soon will it be upon us?
There is rumors that in the first quarter, which is January, February, and March is now.
Yeah.
So there is rumors that it might actually be out within the next few weeks.
Which
Well,
I don't know.
I just
That
want to
seems too
reveal
quick.
on this show, guys, that I am playing it right. No, I'm not.
We all got a copy, right, Michael?
That's right. I've been playing it nonstop. Actually, I'm looking forward to it, so I don't care what people say. I'm looking forward to trying it, jumping in, and seeing what it's like. So,
Yeah, all the microtransactions. Looking forward to it.
hey, we don't know what it's like.
You
yet.
love
We
a
don't
good
know.
you love a good microtransaction, Marty. What are you talking about?
As long as they're micro, I don't mind them. But some of the microtransactions these
mic?
days,
The mic.
the microtransactions these days are like $40, and I'm like, hey, that's not micro.
Why am I paying for a full price game in like this mobile game for gems and dollars?
Yeah, just for gems, and you can't even. Yeah. Anyway, that's a subject for another day. It's almost 8:00. We in Denmark at least, which means it's about
He just pulled up
time
an
to
image.
end the show. Go away, Tom, with that. Let's head the hell out of here.
Last orders! Last orders!
And here we are at the end. We're ready to head out. But before, remember that we also have another podcast called Nerd This. We have been dropped hints throughout the episode if you haven't noticed. And
Yeah, it's actually about to be cancelled unless we get some more downloads. So just saying, if you're not listening to Nerd This,
Wow.
It's about to be canceled, and people are about to lose jobs.
This is the first time an employee has heard about that.
Yeah, poor Dusty and Ryan. Anyway, this week we're going to talk about the Captain Marvel movie. So if you want to hear what we thought about it, check it out. Anyway, stay around because after the show we have the Frosty Report. Let us know your thoughts about anything we talked about on this episode, or if you have your own questions, feel free to contact us. Tom, how do people do that?
You can email the show at thebluereclusepodcast@gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at The Blue Recluse. Follow us there. Why not join us over at the Dragon Powered Studio Discord? You can find a way in if you go to thebluerecluse.eu/discord. We're talking all things Blizzard games. There's free games. You can also interact with other podcasts on the Dragon Powered Studio Network. And there's some pretty good ones to check out. Even Nerd This, which needs your help. Why not leave an iTunes review for the Blue Recluse? Because people still do that, and it helps. It actually helps podcasts grow and become more discoverable. If you want to help people discover this load of nonsense, you should definitely do that. Do it. And you can find all that information and more, including our show notes for this episode, on our website, thebluerecluse.eu, or, because some people prefer it, thebluerecluse.com. And with the political climate right now, I don't know how long we'll be able to say thebluerecluse.eu. Who knows? Go there while you can. Time's running out. The world is ending. Listen to Nerd This. There we go. I'm done.
You're done. All right. Someone who's not done is Frasley.
I've got another hour until the report. Wait, what? It's time? But, Philly, my watch didn't sync up with the cat, the continuously adjusting timekeeper. I'll have to go investigate what's up with it later. I hate daylight saving time. Zauner, did you get my show notes ready? Good. You are shaping up to be a great intern. You're better than Donald, who is going back to school this spring. They looked at going to the Umbrella Academy, but they got rejected. I suggested the schools that Toss-Mifune is going to, but Donald wants to go to a theater school instead. Maybe he'll be the next Lin-Manuel Miranda. I mean, Donald doesn't want to give up his shot. Anyway, let's get started. Roll the music. No, not that. I'll just say which file it is. Welcome to the Frosty Report, a short podcast by me, the Awesome Gnome, about the World of Warcraft. So Blizzard has been clarifying some of the things happening with Classic. They just unveiled the new Classic content release schedule. Phase 1, which they are calling Classic Launch, will include Molten Core, Onyxia, and Maridon. And then Dire Maul, Azurgos, and Kha'Zix will follow for Phase 2. They talk about the additional phases as well after that. They've talked about the loot tables and what they will look like. They mentioned that PvP is still being decided, and the timing for phases 2 to 6 is still being thought about. In addition to this, there was some confusion as to why demons disappear when summoning a new one. Blizzard explained that they were looking at the floppy disk of the code they have, and that the spell to keep a demon while another spawns wasn't added until later. But why was this happening in the first place? We spoke with psychologist Salen Soulfeather, and they explained demon psychology to us. What truly happens is the demon gets upset when you're summoning a new one, so they just decide to leave. It's common tendencies for demons to do just what is impulsive to them. And what stopped them from leaving later on was that warlocks realized if they give the demon a lollipop each time they summon a new one, they'll get so excited that they'll agree to stay until the new minion appears. Demons just like candy. I love candy, and I love new patches. This week is the official launch of 8.1.5. There are new allied races, the Brawlers Guild, but there are also a few conspiracies that have popped up with this patch. Shane Dawson continued their series about conspiracy theories with a special episode on the theories regarding 8.1.5. The reason the Karazhan portal has been removed is Medivh was tired of unexpected guests riding into his tower and destroying his nightly dinner parties. His cleaning staff have threatened mutiny as they clean, and then all of a sudden, a player waltzes right in and destroys things. I mean, that would be aggravating. I would not want to put together a room and all of a sudden have some players watching and be like, hey, I like your room. Whoo, there you go. And then over on Darkmoon Island, there are fish heads that are popping up in the waters around the fair. This has sparked both a very pungent smell, and there are questions about whether Salus is using the island as a front for a fish cult. The fishermen on the island have been saying, fish heads, fish them up, yum, which is a very catchy song. And then finally, Shane got word of another place that might be reusing pizza. Shane has said that Ryko Pizza has some very oddly shaped pizzas. But being a journalist, we got a report from Recluse Pizza, and they said that they do not reuse pizza. If any pizza is left over, the staff eat it. Because they said, who wants to let pizza go to waste? And I agree. Pizza's so good. They do have a recycling deal, though. If you bring back your box, they will give you another pizza. I mean, at full price. But you will not be wasting pizza boxes. This is not the music either. We have 2 options for ending music. Okay, it's your first week. Well, that's the news for this week. Fishy things are happening, but it's been sweet that you tuned into this cheesy broadcast. Until next time, be awesome. You know, we got a lot of pizza boxes around here. We sure do love pizza. Hey, you know what? It's a going away party for intern Donald. I'll throw a pizza party. All of you listeners are invited. Contact me for details. Absolutely, we'll have pineapple on pizza. Donald, I know you don't like that, but you're going away soon anyway, so I don't care. I know the party's for you, but still, I love pineapple pizza.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.